Your car is idling rough, your gas mileage is sliding, and the check engine light just popped on. A shop wants to charge you $200, maybe $300 for a fuel system service. But there's a $4 bottle on the shelf of any parts store that does a big chunk of that. Same job. Most people ruin it by skipping one single step, and I'll show you exactly what that step is. Stick around, because this isn't just one trick. I'm giving you several cheap fixes for different situations. Let me be straight, because that's the whole point of this channel. Injector cleaners aren't magic. They're detergents, usually built around a compound called PEA, polyethylamine, that dissolves the carbon deposits that build up on your injectors over time. They work for real when the problem is light or moderate deposits. What they don't do is repair a broken injector, a dead coil, or an injector that's mechanically stuck. If your problem is dirt, this helps. If it's a failed part, it won't. I'll be honest with you the whole way through. Here's the plan for today. First, the main fix. How to use a quality injector cleaner the right way. Second, what to do when that isn't enough. Third, 2 related cheap fixes people constantly mistake for dirty injectors. And at the end, I'm tearing apart the fake viral versions of this trick so you don't waste money or hurt your engine. Let's talk about the main problem. Your fuel injectors are precision nozzles. Their whole job is to spray gasoline into the engine in a very fine, very specific pattern, thousands of times a minute. Over time, residue from the fuel you burn leaves deposits on the injector tip, and heat bakes those deposits into hard varnish. When that happens, the spray pattern gets distorted. Instead of a fine, even mist, you get an uneven dribble or a lopsided stream, and you feel the result. Rough idle, where the car shakes a little at a stoplight. Hesitation when you press the gas. A loss of power on hills. Worse fuel economy because the engine isn't burning fuel efficiently, and sometimes outright misfires that trip the check engine light. Those symptoms creep up so slowly that a lot of people don't notice how bad it's gotten until they fix it and feel the difference. A shop usually handles this one of 2 ways. The expensive route is pulling the injectors out and cleaning them on an ultrasonic bench, or just replacing them, which can run into many hundreds depending on the car. The more common route is a professional fuel system service, where they hook a solvent machine to your fuel rail and run cleaner through it. That service typically runs around $100 to $300, mostly labor. What a lot of people don't realize is that for light to moderate deposits, the bottle you pour in yourself uses the same kind of detergent chemistry for a fraction of the price. Now let's get into the main fix, step by step. The product I reach for is a cleaner with PEA in a high concentration. Well-known options like Chevron Techron Concentrate Plus or Redline SI1 contain this kind of detergent and usually cost between $4 and $9 a bottle. You don't need any special tools for this, which is exactly why it's the first thing to try. Step 1. Read the label on your specific bottle. Every product tells you how many gallons of fuel one bottle is formulated to treat. This matters more than people think, because overdosing doesn't clean better. It just wastes product and your money. Step 2. Do this when your tank is nearly empty, around a quarter full or less. This gives you a higher concentration of cleaner in the gas, and concentration is what makes the detergent effective. A capful in a full tank is barely doing anything. Step 3. Pour the entire bottle into the tank. Do it carefully. Use a funnel if your car doesn't have a capless filler neck, and avoid splashing it on your paint, because solvents and clear coat don't mix. Step 4. Fill the tank up with gas. Now you've got the correct ratio of cleaner to fuel circulating through the whole system, from the fuel pump to the rail to the injectors. Step 5, and this is the step almost everyone skips. Drive that full tank normally, and make sure some of it is highway driving at a steady, sustained speed. The cleaner needs time and heat and fuel flow to dissolve those baked-on deposits. If you pour it in and then only do short, cold, stop-and-go trips to the grocery store, the detergent never gets the chance to do its job. Then people say it didn't work, when really, they just never gave it a fair shot. Don't expect a transformation after 10 minutes. Expect to feel the change gradually, over that entire tank. A few safety notes, because fuel deserves respect. Always work with the engine cool and off when you're handling anything near the tank or fuel filler. No smoking, no open flames, no sparks anywhere nearby. Gasoline vapor is heavier than air and extremely flammable. Only use products specifically designed to go in your fuel tank. Do not improvise with shop chemicals or solvents you found in the garage. And if you spill any on your skin, wash it off promptly. This is simple, but it's not something to be casual about. What results should you realistically expect? I'm going to undersell this on purpose because I'd rather you be pleasantly surprised than disappointed. If your problem was light or moderate deposits, the most common outcome is a noticeably smoother idle, cleaner throttle response, and sometimes a small improvement in fuel economy that shows up over the following weeks. On a car that was running rough, that can feel like a real wake-up. But don't expect a car with a mechanically failed injector to suddenly heal. It won't. This is cleaning and maintenance, not a repair for broken hardware. On a high-mileage car that's been neglected for years, one bottle might not get all the way there. Sometimes it takes 2 treatments across back-to-back tanks before the deposits fully break loose and you feel the full effect. That's normal, and it's still pocket change compared to a shop bill. But here's the honest part. If you've run 2 treatments and there's 0 change, the problem probably wasn't dirt at all. That tells you something valuable. It means you should stop spending on cleaner and start looking elsewhere. And the next fix is exactly where I'd look, because it saved me even more in a case just like that. Related fix number 1, spark plugs and ignition coils. A huge number of people blame their injectors when the real culprit is a worn spark plug or a weak coil. The symptoms overlap almost perfectly. Misfires, rough idle, hesitation, a check engine light. From the driver's seat, a bad coil and a dirty injector can feel identical, but the fix and the cost are completely different. Spark plugs are one of the cheapest parts in the entire car, often $2 to $10 each, and on a lot of engines you can swap them yourself with a spark plug socket, an extension, and a little patience. When you pull an old plug, it tells you a story. Electrodes that are rounded off and worn, or a tip caked in black carbon or oily residue, are pointing straight at your problem. Replacing plugs on the schedule in your owner's manual prevents a shocking amount of the trouble people wrongly pin on injectors. Ignition coils are the next suspect. They sit on top of the plugs on most modern engines and send the spark. When one weakens, you get a misfire on that cylinder, often with a code that names the exact cylinder. Coils cost more than plugs, but you can often find quality replacements in the $20 to $40 range, and swapping one is frequently a 5-minute job with a single bolt and an electrical connector. The key move here, before you buy anything, is to read the trouble code. If your scanner says cylinder 3 is misfiring, you can swap the coil from cylinder 3 to cylinder 4. If the misfire follows the coil to cylinder 4, you found your bad part for the price of one coil instead of a guess. Related fix number 2, the throttle body and the air filter. A rough idle and stumbling often come from a throttle body coated in carbon and gunk, or from an air filter so clogged the engine can't breathe. Both are cheap to address. A can of throttle body cleaner costs about $5 to $8. With the engine off and fully cool, and following the directions on the can and the guidance for your specific car, you carefully clean the carbon buildup off the throttle plate and bore. On a lot of vehicles, this restores a smooth idle that had slowly gotten worse for years. Just be gentle, use the cleaner made for this purpose, and don't force the throttle plate in ways it isn't meant to move. On some newer drive-by-wire systems, there's a relearn procedure afterward, so check what your car needs before you dive in. The air filter is even simpler, and it's the easiest win in this entire video. Pop the airbox open and look at the filter. If it's gray and packed with dirt and debris, your engine is trying to breathe through a clogged mask. A new filter usually costs $10 to $20, and on many cars you can swap it in 2 minutes with no tools at all. A fresh filter helps throttle response and protects the sensors downstream. People spend hundreds chasing performance problems when the answer was a cheap filter the whole time. Rule out the cheap and easy stuff first, every single time. Now let's tear apart the fake viral versions of this trick, because some of them can wreck your car. Myth number 1. Pouring acetone or paint thinner into your tank to clean the injectors and boost mileage. Do not do this. Those chemicals aren't formulated for your fuel system and can attack gaskets, seals, fuel lines, and rubber components, turning a $4 idea into a 4-figure repair. The supposed mileage gains don't hold up to careful testing either. It's not a hack, it's a gamble with your fuel system. Myth number 2, that you need to dump cleaner in at every single fill-up to keep things clean. More is not better. Following the bottle's recommended interval, often every few thousand miles, is plenty for maintenance. Pouring it in constantly just drains your wallet without extra benefit. Myth number 3. The magic premium gas idea. The belief that running higher octane fuel in a car that calls for regular will clean your injectors and add power. Octane is a measure of resistance to knock, not detergent strength. If your engine is designed for regular, premium doesn't give you secret cleaning or extra horsepower. Now, top-tier branded fuels do contain better detergent additives than the bare legal minimum, and using them regularly does help keep injectors clean over time. But that's about the detergent package, not the octane number. Don't confuse the two. Myth number 4, that one bottle of cleaner will fix a physically stuck injector, a failed fuel pump, or a bad sensor. It can't, and no honest product claims it can. A detergent dissolves deposits. It does not replace broken electronics or worn-out mechanical parts. Knowing the difference between what's real and what's smoke is exactly what keeps your money in your pocket. Let's talk about the common mistakes that waste people's money or damage their cars. The first one I already flagged, pouring in the cleaner and then only doing short trips. No sustained driving means no real result, and a wrong conclusion that the product is junk. The second mistake is impatience, dumping bottle after bottle over a few days expecting an instant cure. That doesn't speed anything up. Give one treatment a full tank before you judge it. The third mistake is ignoring the real cause. If your check engine light is on, don't just clear the code and hope. A basic OBD2 code scanner is cheap, and many parts stores will read the code for you for free. That code is the single most useful piece of information you can get, because it points you toward the right fix instead of a guess. The fourth mistake is using the wrong product, like putting a diesel-specific cleaner in a gas engine or the other way around. Always confirm it's made for your engine type. And the fifth mistake is expecting a $4 bottle to undo years of neglect. Cleaning helps, but it can't reverse a worn-out component or replace skipped maintenance. Set realistic expectations and these fixes will serve you well. One honest caveat before we wrap up. These cheap fixes are perfect for light deposits, routine maintenance, and mild symptoms, but there are times to stop and see a professional. If you have persistent misfires after trying the basics, severe power loss, a strong smell of raw fuel, visible fuel leaks, or trouble codes pointing to a specific injector or to a fuel pressure problem, don't keep throwing bottles at it. Those can signal a failed injector, a struggling fuel pump, or something that needs proper diagnostic equipment. Spending $4 to rule out deposits is smart. Ignoring a serious fuel system problem is how a small issue turns into an expensive one. Let's recap. A PEA-based injector cleaner for $4 to $9 can restore lost performance when deposits are the problem, saving you against a shop bill that can hit $300. Spark plugs, coils, the throttle body, and the air filter are all cheap fixes that people constantly confuse with injector trouble. So rule them out first. And the viral tricks with acetone and magic premium gas are smoke, not solutions. If this saved you money or a headache, hit like and subscribe, because the next video is one a lot of you asked for. How to read your own check engine codes for free and know exactly what's failing before you ever set foot in a shop. I'll see you there.